Hello and welcome to Overpass. This is going to be part of my utility guides that I've been doing for my friends. But if you're from YouTube, pleasure to have you. I will probably post this. So yeah, I hope you learned something. We're going to be starting on T side here, and from spawn, if you go ahead and put yourself up against this pillar and track this thin line all the way up to where it intersects right here, and you jump through that, that'll be front bathrooms. I'll check on that in a second. There's another smoke you can throw from right here. Put yourself right here and put that dot. Do a crosshair on that dot and jump throw that. And you end up with front bathrooms and divider. The front bathrooms one usually doesn't land like that. It usually lands pretty solid. I'll throw another one just so you can see what that looks like, but it usually doesn't land as bad as that one did. But we'll do one more just for reference. Yeah, that's much more typical for it to land like that. So, there you go. Moving on, you can throw a divider's molly by being about here. Oh, sorry. You want to be further back than that, so you don't get shot. Here, take a step and throw. It's going to be divider, and then you also can throw a flash like this. Sorry, that was just too high. My bad. I didn't mean to take an extra step there. Just like that, and that'll flash into bathroom, blind and op off that angle. You know, you can do a lot with it. You can also aim just a little bit higher and also do a little step throw. That'll land a little bit more shallow if you're trying to blind this guy, maybe. So anyway, you can flash a guy off of this angle at long just by kind of going here, aiming up from this a little ways, and then just kind of step throwing. It's not an exact science, it's just knowing where to throw your flashes. So you can use that to your advantage. Once you kind of get control of this area, you have a couple ways you can smoke dumpster from here. From the left side of bench here, you can aim at this top right corner and jump throw. And from the left side here, you can go right off of the edge of this lamp on the brown part right here, off the edge of that. And you end up with those two smokes. If you have this smoked off, like this for example, you can do some utility from here. It can be risky, you can do it without it, but you want to make sure your team has pretty solid control. So with this one, if you go ahead and look, I'll show you like this. If you go ahead and look at this line, and think of this as a square, you aim in this bottom corner with a smoke, and jump throw. Again, that's like basically like in this area right here. Interesting. Why did I do that? Yeah, okay, interesting. I don't think I threw that any different, but that's your bank smoke. You can also throw part of a smoke wall that I will show you in a second, but I'll give you some other utility first. So from here, you put yourself right here in front of divider on this line. You aim at this dash and jump throw. That's going to be your left side dice smoke. But what's interesting is you can combo this with a molly. Same line, same spot, and jump throw. And that's going to hit on the box and kind of spill out into the back of the dice. So good little thing to combo. You throw the smoke first, molly second, but you can do it very quickly. Just throw. From the back of the bench, if you aim between the shoulders of the people and left click, that's going to be your Optimus smoke. And if you put yourself on this line in this wall, crouch down and aim where this ledge of this C works its way over, and aim in the middle of that. Stand up and left click. That's going to be your mid-sight smoke. And then I showed you kind of two options for that earlier, or I'll show you the second option. So you know that you can throw the left side dice from that spot right there by aiming at the dash, but you can also throw it from here. If you aim if you think of this as an axis, just a little bit to the left and low, just a little bit. And that's a jump throw. This one's a little bit more inconsistent, which is why I kind of like the one from the divider, but it does give you that. And you can also combo a molly with the divider. But essentially what you end up getting is a smoke wall that blocks off this entire site so that you can isolate just the angles in front. Very solid. Another little piece of information, if you're ever behind a divider, if you aim kind of in this bottom left corner right here of this wall, or really anywhere on this wall, and give it a little jump throw, this is a pretty perfect flashbang to help your teammates get out on site. It blinds a majority of angles on the CT side, but doesn't really tend to hit your teammates. You can throw almost the exact same utility from long, so let's do that. So from this first lamp, you're going to be T side, and you're going to aim just at the top of the B here, and jump throw. And then you'll combo that. That's your left side dice, by the way. And then you can combo that with this right here. So if you go from the left side of the bench here, and you go this blue, look for this darker blue / gray. Put yourself on the middle of that. Aim at this middle dash. If you think of the 1, 2, 3, these 3 little marks, put it on the middle and left click. That's going to be your mid sight. And if you go to this pillar and your CT side of it, and the lineup here is going to be a little interesting, but essentially, so when I talk about my grenade pin, if you look at my character's hand, in their right hand, there's the smoke. At the top of the smoke, where it's like beige brown, towards the left side, the very top left of the smoke, if you think about it like that, there's a little cylinder that right now I'm going to put it on this little ball right here, this little orb. It's just right there, that little cylinder. So you want to put that cylinder where this foliage intersects this bar. So if you stick your eyes right on this spot, don't follow my crosshair. Keep your eyes here and you'll see what I mean. I'm going to put the pin at that intersection and left click. And what that's going to do is it's going to be your Optimus smoke. So whenever I talk about like pin placement on a smoke, that's what I'm talking about. Is you're going to use the pin as your placement. Note that is with a view model preset position 3. So if you don't know how to change your view model, or otherwise known as the classic view model, then just look it up. Just look up like view model preset POS 3, or type it in. I think there's an underscore between view model underscore preset POS underscore 3. I think that's correct, or not underscore, but just like space 3. It's something like that. But look it up. I'm sure you'll find it. A couple other things. I'll finish off the smokes here. You can throw dumpster by putting yourself kind of in the middle of where this foliage is. And you're going to aim at the bulb, this left bulb, and jump throw. And that's going to be your dumpster smoke. And you can smoke bank by putting yourself in the middle of this sign between the N and the T. Aiming at the top of the A and left clicking. And no, actually, you cannot hit this. Do not worry about hitting this. If you've played Overpass, you know that if you throw something through that, it's not actually a texture. So it doesn't have any impact. And then one small thing from over here just to finish things off. If you put yourself here and aim at this corner, if you take a couple steps while using this, you can... Okay, let me put it this way. There's 3 ways to throw this, depending on where you want to hit it. If you want to hit behind Optimus, you can throw it like this. Take like 2 steps with W and throw. Like that. That's going to hit behind Optimus a little bit further. You can take 1 very quick step and throw. And that should hit the corner. Another way to do that one, actually the preferred way, is to take a couple walking steps and throw, and that'll just hit there. And then what I really meant to do on the second one was just to take a step. Still a little far. I just want to show you what I'm trying to do with it so that maybe you can practice it. I usually can get these, but I don't know. Just what it is. That's usually what it should do, is land on the truck and spill out the back, and that's what you kind of want it to do if you're trying to hit the guy that's sitting behind it. Because it's a pretty powerful position to be sitting in this area. So there's your long utility. I'm going to go over to B now. Try not to waste too much time here. And so from B, I'll start with the fast heaven smoke. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at this 1, 2, 3 piece of wood and go up until you meet the middle of this rusty beam. And then from this point, you're not going to touch anything but W. And then obviously your jump throw bind key. So you're going to do this. And then once that drain passes you on your left, throw the smoke. Or jump throw the smoke. And that's going to do this. So that's their fast way to throw it. Now, with 4-3, which I am in, it's important to let the drain leave completely from your screen before you throw. It's better to be late than it is to be early. With 16-9, you might have to fiddle around with it. I don't have any tips for that, but I think it's right about halfway at the drain, or maybe just a little bit further. So just something to keep in mind there. You can smoke divider from down here at B if you want to maybe throw like a little fake. You could throw an A fake by throwing a couple of things from spawn, and then you could even throw this. So basically you just put yourself in this corner of the pallet and aim at this black dot and jump throw, and that's going to smoke divider. Yes. Also, this can be paired with another smoke. I forget what the other one is, but if you put yourself in this part of the corner and aim at the top left of this and jump throw, this is going to be like right side graffiti, so it's going to like, you can create a wall here. You might need to look up what the left smoke is, because I don't remember it off the top of my head. I'm not going to spend time trying to fiddle around with it. I just don't know it right now. Let's see. You can throw mid-sight 2 ways, and each has a different purpose. So if you wedge yourself in the barrel right here and aim it just at the very top of this tower and throw it like that, this one lands and it blocks off more of this front, but it does not block off ramp from the CTs. You can alter that with this smoke, where you put yourself in this back left corner where the trash is, and once again aim at the top and left click, and this is going to land a little bit more shallow. So what this is going to do is it's going to land a little bit more shallow. It's going to block off ramp. So if you're in a short-handed situation where you don't have as many eyes, or maybe someone that's cutting off water, it might be a good idea to have this smoke instead. Moving on from there, I'll move a little bit further forward. Just a couple quick pieces of flashes and mollies. So there's a couple flashes that are good for getting out monster. One of those is this flash right here. So you put yourself here. This is the nose flash, very, very common. And then you left click that. And what that's going to do is it's going to bank up just like that, and it's going to pop right out. Good flash for getting out monster. The one I like more, however, is this flash. So you're going to put yourself on this crack right here, where this, intersects. It's a pretty easy intersection to find. And if this is not smoked off, you are going to aim at like where the shadow meets the light on that line off to the right. Or if it's not smoked, you can think about putting your pin right here in this on the edge of this spool, which I'm going to do right now. So you can throw it like this, and then you use your jump throw, or you can line it up here. This one's pretty, if it's smoked or if it's not, if you use either the pin on the spool or the crosshair on the shadow versus the light, it's going to work. It's pretty consistent. It's easy. It's an easy flash to do. It's flexible. It doesn't botch almost ever. One way to smoke barrels is like this. So you're going to put yourself kind of in this back ledge. You are going to, don't do it when the train's coming. You're going to aim on this line. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take about 3 running steps and jump throw. And that's going to molly barrels. Another way, which I found actually can be a little bit more consistent and it's easier. So this one's a little bit more complicated to explain, but I'm sure you'll understand by the end. So you're going to use the bottom right of this lamp and the top left of this corner. Or of this pillar, so this corner. And what you're going to do is you're basically going to line those up so that they touch, like that. See how they're touching, kind of like a crosshair? Where you have 2 filled spaces of lamp and lower corner, and then 2 empty spaces of the beams. See how that kind of works out? It should make sense. Once you're there, and that's where you're going to be standing, you're going to move your crosshair over here, trace up that line to midway on this beam, get your molly out, and you're just going to do a quick step throw. That one landed a little short. I need to go a little bit further, but all that time explaining it just makes you suck. Just kidding. And I took too much. Whatever. Oh, I'm getting killed. Oh. I am God mode now. So we're good. Anyway. That's more like it. And that's what it usually does. I love the curse of recording this, and that I just always miss the utility. Or it does some wonky stuff while I'm recording, but it never does it when I'm practicing it or when I'm in game. Is what it is. From water. Your heaven smoke is going to be on this second little bulb. And that's just a left click. Heaven. There's also a couple nice pieces of utility from here that you can throw. One is a barrels molly, so if you go here and you trace it to about where this dark line starts, the second dark line, you stay on that edge and jump through that. That's going to be another barrels molly. And then also, very nice flash to know, is just on this line right here, just kind of in the middle between like this and this. So just kind of like there. Simple enough. You can think of it maybe above this brick right here, up to the line if you want. Whatever helps you remember it. And then that's a left click. What's so great about this flash is that notice where it pops in relevance to like if your teammates are coming out monster. It pops in like from the pillar. So from their perspective, they can't see it, but it does hit all the other angles on CT and it even hits barrels. So that's a very solid flash to know. Another thing you can throw is down here. If you put yourself in this corner, this is going to be bridge. If you go out to the 1-2 line and then you go here. So go here until you meet this line. And left click. This is your bridge smoke. This is going to allow you to cross out without fear of graffiti. Pair this with a heaven smoke and you can come out short for a really strong push. Only thing I'm going to cover in con from the T side, but it's both CT and T, so it doesn't matter too much. I'm actually going to cover 2 things for T. One is if you want to try and get someone out of the corner, just kind of throw a molly like this, and it will spread. Yeah, that's a good one to do. You can play around with it, but you don't want to expose yourself to it as much, but it can get both this corner and this corner if you're able to throw it right. You need to go a little bit wider. So it's all just kind of figuring out where you can go. But the pop flash out of the window looks like this. So you're going to crouch down, split the difference between these 2 lines, and then come down until you hit the edge, and left click. And it's going to bounce over like that. Or you can even go a little bit further down. Either way, that was about the same thing. And yeah. Fun flash, easy enough. Most of the time it doesn't hit, but if it hits, it's fine. Actually makes it a little bit better because it pops higher, but whatever. And while I'm here, just so I don't have to come back later, I'll show you the CT one way. So that's going to be here. So at the edge of this bead line, and then here, left click. And this is going to give you a little one-way. You just got to be careful not to fall off. Don't get too greedy with your space because you're already hanging off as it is, but you can use this as a little one-way. Alright, let's do CT from A. So, some CT utility from A. The hard stuff, the molly. This is the T-ramp molly. So what I found is that this one requires just a lot of focus and the most mouse movement of most utility. So what you're going to do is kind of put yourself in the center. You want to be able to try and do this a little quickly, but I'll show you how to do it generally. So you're going to aim about at the midline, maybe a little bit lower on this line here. And what you're going to do is you're going to run forward until this bench on 4-3 clips your screen and it starts disappearing. And you're going to jump throw. The thing I cannot emphasize enough is that this smoke will not work, or this molly will not work, unless you keep your crosshair on the exact spot the entire time. So you have to be focused on keeping your crosshair in the same spot while you're running, and also pay attention to your peripherals to see when that bench disappears. It's definitely one of the harder pieces of utility, I know. So therefore it requires a lot of practice to do. But when done right, oh, just so close. It is a very powerful tool to have. One more time. I was a little late on that one, but I think that'll still work. Yep. You can almost feel when it like feels right. I don't know. There's certain smokes like that, but you can just almost like feel if it was right. Couple things. So I'll throw this flash first so you can see it. So if you go on this back post and put your crosshair like kind of just in this bottom left corner, if you think of this as an L, and you left click that, that's going to be one of the best flashes you can throw to pop flash the T-ramp players while your teammate maybe pushes up, because it's not going to, it doesn't go through this shrub, so it won't hit them. Another thing you can do, and this is another little tidbit of information from here, is if you stand here and you aim about here on the, here and then to the center, and then left click. This is a cheeky little one-way that you can use. It smokes off divider, but if you sneak your way into over here, you can kind of get this little one-way on the edge. That can catch some people off guard, but it is risky. Be careful with it, but it will net you some kills every now and then. I think everyone knows like that you can throw like a smoke off this wall, and just kind of get it on the stairs or below it for a little one-way over for a little peek. Distorts the vision a little bit. It's solid. But what you can also do, and I know that it's not blocked off right now, but if you follow the fountain down to the middle and just maybe like a little bit off to the right of that, just kind of like here, if you think between these two bulbs and then come down to like the second stair, take about 2 steps and jump throw. And what that does is it hits any, maybe like a little bit of like a playground rush. And if you double nade that, like if you have a guy maybe opping and spotting, you're not going to be able to react fast enough to throw those nades, I don't think, but it's going to have to be kind of like a preemptive thing. But it is solid. If you maybe suspect them to maybe rush with MAC-10s or something, you can expect that from the CT side. CT to B. This is where things get fun. And you get to look like you know, like you're a genius because you know these crazy pieces of utility. So if you from a spawn, if you crouch in this dumpster, aim at this bottom left or this end piece of the post, and jump throw while staying crouched, that's going to be your monster smoke from spawn. And then coming down here, if you put yourself here, aim 1, 2, 3, and left click. That's going to be your molly to stop a rush through short. Let's see. If you put yourself in this corner, this is a monster re-smoke. If you want to re-smoke monster late in the round, this is a good place to do it from. You're going to crouch, look at this dot, if you can see that right here. I'll pull out an op scope so that you can, goodness gracious, pull out an op scope so that you can see it. That dot, if you will. So you're going to aim on that dot while crouched, goodness gracious. Where's my smoke? While crouched. Stand up. Try not to move that crosshair at all when you stand up. But that's going to be your monster re-smoke. Let's see. Another fun one is from over here. This can be accompanied by a nice flash. So you put yourself in this corner, and you're going to go 1, 2, third window that you can see. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Up to the midway point, and then just a little bit to the left, and you'll see why on the trajectory. And then jump throw. You want to miss that. That one went a little bit further, actually, than usual. But anyway, still does kind of what I wanted it to do. Not really, though. Anyway, I'll do it one more time. Maybe not as far left. Maybe I was exaggerating it just a little bit. Anyway, what it should do is that. So maybe I was exaggerating how far left you need to go initially. Well, that's a nice smoke to be able to block off the T's from rushing, because you can take monster quickly. And then you can accompany that by a nice flash if you get on this box and left corner, this back corner here. And then you aim at the bottom right of the right window. So think about 1, 2, the right window of these two, and the bottom right. And then just left click. That's going to be a nice flash if they decide to push through, or if you want to take maybe some monster control. This doesn't blind your teammate, but it will blind everyone out here, I promise. So just some interesting stuff to know. And then one small thing is a little timing flash that I like for water. So this is if you suspect that the enemy team is rushing through short here, and they're going to try and take water quickly. If they're, you know, like a Mac 10 rush, we've all seen it. Or we've all done it, especially in our silver games where we just rush through water with Mac 10 quickly. Well, if you want to see if you can net some quick kills, what you can do is you can come down here, and I have timed this out, and the CTs do arrive here first. So you send one player to go over here to short, as they usually would, and do a peek like they usually would, a very quick peek. They don't have to stop, even if the Mac 10s are coming. You've got this beat. If you come off of spawn, throw this flash 15 seconds after the round starts. If they're rushing, they're rushing. Like, if they're rushing, then you're expecting they should be there at 15, between 14 and 3/4 seconds and 16 seconds, depending on maybe spawns. You're looking at that time frame. So 15 to 16 seconds is ideally where you want to throw this. And it's a great flash for it. While you have your short player pushing, right, left, click while holding both. Aim just about here, very shallow up against this wall, and just bank it. And what that's going to do is it's going to land in that pocket. So from a perspective of a player coming out, even eclipsing this, they're blind. While your short player who's rushing doesn't even get to see that flash. It's blocked. This mobile home portable building thing blocks their vision of the flash so that they are not blinded by it. So just a small thing to note for that. And besides that, I think that wraps up Overpass. I know this is going to be longer, but Overpass does have a lot of utility and quite a bit of complicated utility. And there's a lot of different ways to throw it, with how A and B both have two very, very different approaches, where you can go monster or you can go water. You can go long or you can go banana on A. It's kind of up to you what you want to do. And so there's a lot of utility to cover for this. So I do hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. Use this, practice it, write it down, save it. It doesn't matter. And yeah, I'll see you guys with the next one. Bye.